Okay, deep breath. I just walked out of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and my brain is still decompressing from the sheer weight of everything that just happened. And I don't just mean the action, which, yes, is still top tier and heart in your throat intense, but I mean everything. The plot, the lore callbacks, the high stakes melodrama, the attempts at finality, the not so final subtitle. This movie packs so much in and somehow still ends up feeling like it's trying too hard to tie up its own legacy while tripping over the very threads it's trying to knot. Let me get this out of the way first. Tom Cruise is still going full Ethan Hunt. Full throttle, full tilt, full death wish. The man is practically allergic to safety. The stunts are mind-blowing, again, and Christopher McQuarrie directs with his usual sleek meets chaotic precision. The highlight? An insanely tense submarine sequence involving the long-lost Sevastopol, the sunken MacGuffin from Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's the kind of claustrophobic, ticking time bomb set piece you expect from this franchise, and it doesn't disappoint. If you're here for the action, Final Reckoning delivers in big bruising chunks. In fact, the physicality and fight choreography here might be the most brutal and raw the series has ever attempted. Every punch lands heavy. Every hallway brawl feels like someone might not walk away from it. For that, McQuarrie and Cruise deserve a solid high five and probably a tetanus shot. But, and it's a big but, like CinemaScope big, this movie takes itself so freaking seriously. Gone is the cheeky self-awareness of Ghost Protocol or the playful tension of Rogue Nation. Here, we're wading deep into opera-level melodrama. The tone is grim, the dialogue is hushed and heavy with meaning, and nearly every character is talking like the Earth is 5 seconds away from getting vaporized by a sentient PowerPoint presentation. Honestly, if Ethan had paused mid-mission to recite a Shakespeare soliloquy about destiny, I wouldn't have batted an eye. And that brings us to the Entity, the big bad AI threat introduced in Dead Reckoning. It's back, and somehow it's even more vague and ominous than before. We're talking about a digital god that can seemingly do anything, be anywhere, and predict every possible outcome. It's Skynet with a philosophy degree. It's not just capable of crashing systems or manipulating data, it's capable of every conceivable evil, and I mean that literally. The film doesn't bother narrowing its capabilities. Instead, it just treats the Entity like the personification of the writer's room going, "What's the worst that could happen? Cool, let's make it do that." It's a narrative black hole, sucking in logic, stakes, and tension. Now, I'm all for high stakes. After all, this franchise lives and breathes on Ethan Hunt, dangling from things that would kill lesser mortals. But here, the stakes are so absurdly astronomical, all life on Earth level, that they ironically feel less urgent. A nuke? Scary. A bioweapon? Terrifying. An omniscient AI threatening existential annihilation? I'll check my email. There's something to be said for relatable scale, and Final Reckoning just flies off the map into the digital void. That's not the only place where the film loses touch with its roots. The pacing is bloated. At nearly 3 hours, it's dragging its heels trying to reference everything from the last 7 entries. And while fan service can be fun, there's one returning face from the very first film that's handled surprisingly well, Rolf Saxon's William Donlow. Nose-bleeding, vault-defending Donlow. Who knew? The rest of it feels more like franchise homework, like someone had a checklist. Reference IMF oath? Check. Revisit Ethan's trauma? Check. Include someone whispering about destiny and consequences over slow dolly shots? Triple check. The emotional beats feel overly earnest to the point of almost parody. There are moments where the script dips into soap opera territory, and it's tough to take seriously when everyone's treating every line like they're delivering a eulogy for humanity. Characters whisper argue in dim rooms like they're in a Succession spin-off, not a spy thriller. The sense of fun, the jetpack-paced, adrenaline junkie swagger that made Rogue Nation and Ghost Protocol so rewatchable is nearly absent here. Even Benji, Simon Pegg, our trusty comic relief, seems a little subdued, like the grimness got to him too. Thankfully, the film does remember that Mission Impossible is at its best when the team comes together, and the climax finally lets them all shine. It's a throwback to the team dynamics of Fallout, and it feels earned. Luther, Ving Rhames, gets to be the voice of wisdom. Benji actually has stuff to do beyond panicking into a headset, and Haley Atwell's Grace continues to be a fun wildcard. Their cooperation feels genuine and reminds us that Ethan isn't just a one-man wrecking crew. He's part of a weird little spy family that makes the impossible possible. Still, for a film that's allegedly closing the book on Ethan Hunt's adventures, let's be real, it won't. There's a curious lack of finality. The movie kind of limps to a thematic conclusion, where you feel like you should be saying goodbye, but the franchise's track record and Tom Cruise's aversion to retirement practically screams to be continued, which makes the title The Final Reckoning either deeply ironic or just completely misleading. It wants to be an ending, but it's too busy holding the door open in case there's a part 9. And let's be honest, there probably will be, and we'll all go see it. In the end, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning is a technically dazzling, narratively overstuffed, emotionally overwrought chapter that almost collapses under the weight of its own self-importance. It's still a spectacle. No doubt, Cruise is still sprinting like rent is due, the stunts are outrageous, and the production value is through the roof. But the spark, that slick mix of charm and chaos that made these films so iconic, it's buried under layers of apocalyptic dread and a script that wants to mean so much, it forgets to have fun. This mission wasn't impossible. It was just a little too much.